helped promote me and get me into different networks I never had the opportunity to. So I strongly encourage that. It's funny you brought that up, Nasby, because there was a engineer from, I think, Nigeria. He had gotten some scholarship or something like that to come here, and immediately that was one of the first groups he participated with, and he ended up getting a job after. So strongly recommend, folks looking at SB, man.
For sure. Still to this day, I'm networking and at tech events. Like, I go to paid tech events or free tech events, and you never know who you might meet, literally. Yeah. So
yeah, I think it's funny because I was watching an event by Tech is the New Black. So shout out Cyrus and the things you guys are doing there. And I think you asked the question. I was like, bro, that's Keyshawn right there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I love the fact that, you're exposing yourself out there more and then kind of networking and bridging, man. So that's good.
For sure. Really, from my perspective, I see it as, like, this may be a little bit contentious, but there are, at my place of work, there are a lot of Georgia Tech grads. So, like, Georgia Tech is, like, one of the top public schools. Yeah. So they have that network, and not to say that my school is bad, but I believe I have to make up for it in some other area, because that's not where I'm the highest in. So that's kind of also why I love to go outside, beat them on the networking, because once you graduate college, people don't really they don't put that much work. You get a job and you're just chilling. So for sure, I feel like I'm gonna beat them in the network area. So,
and then this may also be contentious, but I don't care at this point. Being a young Black African American, you have to do a little bit more sometimes to be able to kind of get your foot in the door as well. So, that's something I think we got to realize that, if you got to work a little bit more, do what you got to do to get your foot in the door. So to me, taking that extra step is a necessity at this point. So.
And I try and do it with a smile too, because I mean, it's my life,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. Cool. Okay, so from doing like hackathons and kind of like freelance type stuff to like getting your first job, like how did that shift like your perspective like on what software engineering was going to be like when you started?
So being more in the industry. It's a lot. I'm trying to think. It's just a lot of areas. That's kind of what I started to realize, especially at a big company.
Yeah.
There's a lot of areas. There's a lot of moving pieces, and I hear a lot of people talk about, you may be an engineer at some big company, but you may play this very small role. That is a real reality. And that's kind of what I faced. Like my work isn't super critical.
Yeah.
For example, my team is responsible for efficiency of other teams. So other employees are my customers.
Yeah.
And we make internal tools for them.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I find that I like the tool that we make, but in the grand scale of things, it's not that important.
Yeah.
But, it's important to our area. So that's one thing I've learned, that thing is true. That's true.
Okay. I've worked on operations teams before as well. And I do agree that, well, I would say that from a value add standpoint, from my experience, generally operations internally, you're one of the last folks to go because you notice when things go bad. Like, for instance, if you have like an external facing tool another company may use, the only way they know about the bugs and issues is like the internal team creates like issues that tell them what the issues are. And then they create tickets off of that. So every team that I've been on from an operational perspective, like we were one of the last to ever be touched when it comes to like layoffs and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it's really good. That's what I said. So that's what I was going to encourage. Like, it's really good where you're at because you provide a lot of value because if systems go down, you need ways to report on those systems because that's at the end of the day, that's money because you're providing a lot of value because you're protecting, your external stakeholders and things like that. And I don't know if you guys track bugs and stuff like that from different programs. Is that part of your?
Yeah, we support other teams.
Yeah.
So literally, yeah, we support other teams. That's all I'm
Okay.
gonna say.
So those bugs may be, that's kind of where it delves into my area where it comes to like cybersecurity, where there's a bug that exposes some sort of endpoint that it wasn't supposed to expose, and then all of a sudden it's like, damn, we're getting sued for millions of dollars. So just to encourage you, man, your work is important, bro.
For
It's very
sure. Thank you
important,
for
man.
that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Okay, so you realize that you have like a certain role to play, and then you're playing that role, and this might get a little bit contentious or controversial, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want. But um, recently there was a young lady, I think a young Moroccan um, AI specialist for Microsoft, and then she ended up protesting because of the um, I guess the software they were building. That I think she felt as if like that was being used to aid the Israeli military to do whatever. So from a um, ethical standpoint, have you ever had to think, or have you ever thought about what I'm building? Does it actually help, to do some things that are not so nice in the world?
For sure. I get this in my comments. Like when I say where I work, they're
Yeah,
like, "Hey, your company is supporting killing kids in Gaza." So in terms of me thinking of the ethical dilemma, um, I mean, like I was saying, my work doesn't directly support
right.
the product.
Yeah,
And I would also say I don't feel bad at all. I'm not gonna say that. I don't feel bad at all. And then number two, the plane that like our area of work produces is like a cargo plane.
gotcha. Yeah,
So it doesn't have any weapons
yeah,
or anything.
yeah,
And then thirdly, if a mechanical engineer models a gun and for a company and a company goes and sells that gun and then a consumer buys it and shoots someone,
yeah.
that mechanical engineer did not kill
Right.
anyone.
Yeah,
So I don't feel bad at all. And, it's just unfortunate. It's just the way of life. I got to get this bread. I'm
yeah,
a hardworking American.
yeah, yeah. I think a lot of times we
Like
forget
that.
that there's no implicit responsibility on the individual that created the technology. It's more so on the individual that utilized it. I know that can get in gray areas, but with what you do, I strongly encourage and I think I support fully what you're doing, bro. So